my name's Beth Rowley and I graduated last summer from Royal Holloway with a degree in English. So these are my thoughts on the Browne report. My academic year was the first year that couldn't escape the last rise in tuition fees. So the fees went from about £1,000 a year to about £3,000 a year. So if I'd been born just 12 months earlier, I would be coming out of university with a debt that would be a third of the size of what my debt actually is. So when I think about that, it makes me feel a bit strange. And I feel like it's quite arbitrary as to when you're born, so how much you're having to pay for an education that could be and probably will be quite similar. So people who are only a couple of years younger than me could be coming out of university with a debt that's twice as big, 3 times as big, maybe even quadruple the size of the debt that I have incurred. And I find that really quite unacceptable. And also when I think to my own future, I want to do a PGC, I want to be an English teacher, and I always assumed that there would be lots of funding because PGCs are pretty well funded. And although the Browne report doesn't really talk about postgraduate studies, it does talk about reduction, there's an overall reduction in money being fed into higher education, and a lot of that is being taken away from the arts. So in reality, I'm probably much less likely to find funding for my PGC than if I was wanting to be a physics teacher or another type of science teacher. And it also worries me a bit when I think about the divisions that it could make in class, because I was quite lucky and I was able to get for school a scholarship to go to a private school. So I was in an environment where I was entirely expected to go to university. Almost every person leaving my school then went to university. However, really, if fees were to go up as much as they're being proposed, I wouldn't be able to afford to have gone to university. So having gone from an environment where everybody can afford to go to university, I would have been that person who, although bright enough and although having aspirations, wouldn't have been able to go to university. And I worry that's what's going to happen to many other people, and I worry that future leaders and future people who have so much potential aren't going to be able to recognise that because they're simply not going to be able to afford to go to university.